Picture this, the world's two largest economies, the United States and China, teetering on the edge of yet another heated trade battle. That's the dramatic scenario unfolding right now as President Donald Trump ramps up his rhetoric with threats of hefty tariffs on Chinese goods. But here's where it gets controversial. Is this a bold move to protect American interests, or a risky gamble that could backfire on everyone? Let's dive into the details and unpack what's really at stake. Donald Trump has once again voiced his intention to slap massive tariffs on imports from China, labeling Beijing's actions as very hostile. Specifically, he's reacting to China's decision to tighten restrictions on exports of rare earth minerals, which are essential for key American industries. For those new to this, rare earths are a group of 17 elements crucial for manufacturing everything from electric vehicle batteries to aircraft engines. Think of them as the unsung heroes powering our modern tech world. Without them, production lines could grind to a halt, affecting everything from your next smartphone to the cars on the road. This latest flare-up has sent shockwaves through financial markets. Wall Street experienced a sharp decline on Friday, with the S&P 500 dropping by 1.5% and the Dow Jones Industrial Average slipping 0.8%. Global markets felt the pinch too, including London's FTSE 100, which fell 0.9%. It's a clear sign that investors are bracing for potential economic turbulence. To understand the context, rewind to earlier this year. Relations between Washington and Beijing had shown signs of thawing over the summer, with Trump agreeing to slash the steep tariffs he'd imposed on Chinese products. This came after intense negotiations aimed at easing tensions between these economic giants. But now, Trump is signaling a potential reversal, posting on his Truth Social platform that such a shift might be painful in the short term, but ultimately beneficial for the US economy. He's outlining plans for a massive increase of tariffs on Chinese products, and hinting at other countermeasures under consideration. Even a scheduled meeting between Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping in South Korea later this month seems in jeopardy, with Trump questioning the point of such a summit. This marks a stark contrast to just 4 months ago, when he hailed US-China relations as excellent after inking a deal to lower tariffs. Let's break down the recent history for clarity. In the spring, Trump escalated tariffs on Chinese goods to a whopping 145%, prompting Beijing to retaliate with its own tariffs on US exports, peaking at 125%. These high-stakes moves raised alarms about their impact on global trade and inflation. Fortunately, diplomatic talks led to a fragile truce. US tariffs on Chinese products dropped to 30%. While China's tariffs on American goods fell to 10%. It was a relief for many, but now Trump's new threats threaten to unravel that progress. China dominates the rare earth market, producing over 90% of the world's processed rare earths and magnets. Earlier this week, Beijing expanded its export controls by adding 5 more materials to the list, building on restrictions from April that caused worldwide shortages. These were partially resolved through diplomatic efforts, but Trump's response suggests he sees this as a deliberate strategy by China to gain leverage, what he calls a sinister and hostile move to create a monopoly. Trump claims he's been vindicated in his suspicions, stating that China shouldn't be allowed to hold the world captive. Yet he counters that the US holds its own stronger monopolies in other areas. This aggressive tariff approach is central to his economic policy, with the belief that taxing imports will bolster the American economy and generate trillions for the government. But here's the part most people miss. Tariffs often get passed down to consumers, driving up prices on everyday goods. For example, if tariffs increase the cost of Chinese-made electronics or toys, you might see those higher prices at the store. Despite years of elevated inflation, Trump has repeatedly asserted that inflation is now non-existent in the US. However, data tells a different story, with price growth actually on the rise. This discrepancy sparks debate. Are tariffs truly a win for American workers and businesses, or do they risk hurting the very people they're meant to protect? And this is the part that could spark differing opinions. Some argue tariffs protect domestic jobs by making foreign goods more expensive, while others contend they lead to higher costs and retaliatory measures that harm exporters. As we wrap this up, it's worth pondering. Do you believe Trump's tariff threats are a smart strategy to counter China's moves? Or could they escalate into a full-blown trade war that hurts global stability? What about the idea of US monopolies? Is that a fair counterpoint? Or just political posturing? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your take on this heated topic.